Hi, this is Ken and Michelle Bass.
And you're listening to the Resilient Parenting Podcast.
And hey there, hi there, ho there.
Be careful there.
We're as welcome as can be. No. I'm going back to the Mickey Mouse Club when I was a kid.
Oh, is that what you were doing? Okay.
Yeah,
Wasn't quite sure.
That's how Mickey would start the things out. Yeah. Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Oh, wow.
Okay, enough of that. With a new episode.
I was like, what are you calling me?
A new episode coming up. Before we even get there, though, there's a couple of reminders we want to put out there for you if you want to get in touch with us.
Yeah, well, you can get in touch with us. There's text us, or you can reach us on Facebook. Mm-hmm. We have a Facebook page, group, the Resilient Parenting Podcast group. So you can reach us that way, and then also, again, through the actual episode. But we also would love if you like what you hear, to make sure that you follow the Resilient Parenting Podcast wherever you're listening to this current episode.
Okay.
And if you follow, then you'll be able to stay up to date on new releases.
Yeah. And the latest release is a continuation of a series we started up.
Yes, and we were mistakenly calling it a 5-part series when in actuality it's a 6-part series.
It was a surprise to us, too.
Apparently, we can't count.
The next episode coming up. Okay, we are once again with Kim Hemmert of the Idaho Children's Trust Fund, where she holds a job title of what again, Kim?
The grants manager.
Grants manager, is that it? Do you have early childhood development also? Okay.
Wow. This is what happens when Ken can't remember the introduction.
And they just coached me, 10 seconds before I got on air with this. Okay.
How many episodes have we done with Kim?
I didn't have any notes. Sorry.
It's okay, Kim.
Okay, well.
I just called you Kim. Ken.
I answer to anything. As
He
long
really
as
does.
food is involved. Okay, I'm sorry, we digress, but Kim Hemmert is talking to us about the different stages of early childhood. We've gone through 3 stages already.
Yep, we made it through infancy, wonderful ones, and terrific twos. Today we get to talk about THREENAGERS.
Which is the term we hadn't heard before. THREENAGERS.
It's the perfect age for having a little bit of sass and a little bit of attitude, like a teenager, but they're only 3 going on 13.
Somehow it just seems like it's a little bit, I don't know, because they're so cute still. Not that teenagers aren't cute, but the sass kind of gets, old after a while, but.
Yes, and I'm sure that some of our parents listening can relate to having a THREENAGER in their house.
Yes, they're probably raising their hand right now, but put your hand back on the steering wheel, please. Safety first.
Speaking of, safety is a great way to start this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're so good.
So in the first couple of years of life, kids are trying to learn their environment and their world. And by 3 years old, they've developed a little bit of confidence in their world, and they want to be able to explore where the safety boundaries are. For how to push those safety boundaries. And so it's really important to just keep safety in mind, especially at this age and stage of development, because kiddos will try and do things that may make parents uncomfortable. And it's also good to recognize where that anxiety and fear is of myself and maybe from my own experiences, and not to project that onto them. When they're really just explorers. They're just trying to explore their environment.
Explorers that don't know their limits, which, like, I'm sweating. I said, because I remember situations like that. Like, Chris went to the very top of a playground equipment that wasn't for their age. I just want to say that right now, wasn't, and they snuck up there.
Right.
They're little fast little people. And before I knew it, they were at the very, very top, very high, and there was no barrier. And so all of us just like did a,
And then you're like responding in slow motion,
Yes.
as if in the movies of
Yeah, I think they just stood there and just kind of laughed at us, like, "Hey, look at me!
Yeah.
Aren't I cute?"
Yeah. Full disclosure, so 3 years old, kids can do like pedal tricycles because they have that cross brain pattern going on. And I was riding, no, I was not riding. My kiddo was riding their tricycle, and we're on a flat path. And they decided to take a sharp left turn and go down the hill.
Oh,
Whoa.
And
no!
and I was like, I had the same like slow motion of like, no, come back. And that did not happen. They ended up hitting a rock, flipped over their bike, and tumbled the rest of the way. I'm running down the hill after them. I get up and assess, the bloody damage that's happening. And the first thing he looks at me and says, I need my helmet to be safe. And then I just burst into tears of like, yep, you're right. Mother of the year right here. From that moment forward, it is absolutely remembered that my kid, of his own will and accord, chooses to wear a helmet because he likes to remind me that he needs his helmet to be safe. And I failed in that moment. So take advice from my own lack of experience and make sure you have helmets on your kids. If
Well, you
they're on
didn't
wheels,
fail. You made a choice.
I made a choice.
It wasn't maybe
It was a
good
learning
choice.
experience for the kid,
It
too.
was a learning experience, absolutely.
See, look.
And he has the scar to prove it.
Oh goodness!
And how do you do the learning as a parent without like losing your mind while watching them try to do things on their own without you mother henning
Yes.
Or father henning.
or helicopter?
Yeah,
Is it
helicoptering. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because, as a parent, I want to keep my kids safe. That's my job, is to keep them safe. But also, there's a balance of trying to ensure that they have the opportunity to explore their world in a safe way. So we were safe. And he took a left turn, and then we were outside of the bounds of safety. So, lesson learned, if you're on wheels, then you get to have a helmet, whether it's a skateboard, a scooter, rollerblades, roller skates, a bike, whatever it is. If it's wheels, there's a helmet happening. So I think recognizing your own fears and insecurities as a parent and not projecting that onto the kids so that they can continue to develop that confidence in the safety of their world, knowing that you as the parent are that safe base they're going to come back to. They're going to know that they're safe when they come back to you.
And they're going to look at you for, is this okay? And so even if you're not saying anything, watch your face. That's all I'm going to say.
Watch your face. You better watch yourself.
Watch your face because it talks even when you don't.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience.
Absolutely. I can speak from my own experience with that too, of like, I need to like soften my face so that they know that it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
So
I
you're
want
like,
you to explore. Yes. And also I think it's part of the recognition of recognizing my own experience, which is what influences my parenting. And if I didn't get that reassurance as a child, then how can I show up differently for my child to give them that confident reassurance of, yes, please explore the world. Please jump off the couch. Yes, please wear a helmet and be safe on your bike. Because maybe some of those things were lacking in our own childhood with our own parenting.
Oh, yeah. That was a lot lacking way back when. They didn't know all the safety measures.
Right.
And
Yeah.
kids just found out for themselves.
I'm sure that we all have stories like that.
Don't wear flip-flops when you're riding a bike. Sometimes I didn't even wear shoes.
Oh, yeah. Tell us more.
I had the best childhood.
And you survived to tell the tale.
I did, but I don't understand why I'm so worried now because of my kids. But yeah, growing up, man, I was outside from as soon as the light was until the lights came on or my dad whistled. Yeah, I was outside the whole time. So what else? What else for the I was like the thinagers.
The thing that you're talking about there.
THREENAGERS.
The THREENAGERS. So THREENAGERS have developed a large vocabulary at this point. They have about 500 to 900 words, and their artistic abilities have developed a little bit more creatively. So now THREENAGERS are able to draw people with multiple body parts. So we've evolved from stick figures to including shapes. So we might have a circle for the head, we might have a triangle for the body. And because that language explosive development has happened, it's a great way to have conversations with them, and they love to tell stories. I'm sure that all of my parents of 3-year-olds right now are like, they won't stop talking. You're right. Because they've been listening to you talk for the last 3 years. It's their turn. And they want to tell you all the things that they're thinking and fantasizing and what they're afraid of and all their stories that they want to share. The best thing to do is to listen and ask questions for them to just keep telling their stories.
Oh, I thought you were going to say have an out.
Well, I mean, sometimes you might need an out as well, but it's an opportunity to have that social and emotional relationship and deepen that attachment with your child, that you really show interest in what they're interested in and what they want to talk about. Like,
And that means eyes.
eye contact, put your phone down,
Yes.
close the screen, turn the TV off, have some eye contact with them. Engage with them, maybe make believe, role play. It's a great introduction to theater at this point.
Oh, yes. It's fabulous. Everyone should do it.
I agree. Absolutely.
And a great introduction to adult relationships too.
Yes, you're modeling how to interact with other humans, whether
Yeah.
it's peer relationships, peer child to adult. You know, these are all skills that they're soft skills that we develop and can use throughout our whole lifetime.
Definitely.
I like how you brought up, sometimes you need to have an out, and that's really important for 3-year-olds. Is that concept of time is being developed, but also the transition points. Sometimes our biggest meltdowns as a 3-year-old or a parent of a 3-year-old may be when there isn't transition time of, okay, it's time to go right now. And they're like, wait, I'm right in the middle of something.
Yeah,
We
I
can't
don't like
leave
that
yet.
either.
No, nobody likes that. So giving them a 5-minute warning, giving them a 2-minute warning, giving them a 1-minute warning. Okay, and now we're leaving will help to smooth the transition from one activity to the next. And it might be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however it makes sense for you, but you're strengthening that development of time concept, and you're giving them the order of events, the sequence of events of, okay, now we're moving on. So they have time to wrap it up.
Which helps with their feeling safe and regulated because they know what to expect.
Right. It's predictable. It's reliable. And the important thing as a parent is then to follow through. The difficulty is we don't want our kids to tantrum. I don't want my kids to tantrum. And so sometimes it's easier to just be like, okay, fine, never mind. We'll just give you another few minutes. But now what you've taught the child is that if I tantrum, I can get my way. And as a parent, to have those strong boundaries of, we're going to follow through, and I'm going to recognize that you don't like this and this is an undesirable transition. And we're still going to transition because I need you to know that I'm going to be reliable and follow through with what I say I'm going to do.
100% do it now, because if you've taught this, it's going to continue at every stage.
Yes. And it's uncomfortable. It's hard to deal with that, especially if you're out in public. Parents don't want to deal with that. But I promise it has long-term payouts to follow through with what you say in a kind, loving, respectful manner, because then kids are going to know that you are kind, loving, respectful, caring, that you're going to be reliable and consistent, even if they don't like it.
It's a gentle firmness, though, right?
Yeah. There is a
none
gentle.
of this. Well, okay. If you go, I'll get you an ice cream cone on the way home. Don't do that, right?
Right. Yeah. We don't want to bribe.
Ken, did you hear that? We don't want to bribe.
I wasn't going to ask for anything this time.
But you bring out a good point because I was having a conversation with somebody about the difference between bribery and positive reinforcement. And as a parent, we do want to promote positive reinforcement. So bribery is, okay, we're going to the store and here's a candy bar. I need you to be good. I'm bribing you ahead of time to be good. Positive reinforcement is, we're going to the grocery store. These are my expectations for behavior. And if you can do that, then I will reinforce that by giving you a sticker afterwards, or we'll get a cookie at the end. So the positive reinforcement is, you have demonstrated the expected behavior and now I will reinforce that.
Nice.
So that's a great way to reinforce that positive behavior, and not doing it ahead of time. The bribery piece happens before the behavior, because if you give them candy before you go to the store and then they act a fool like a three-nager
because they ate chocolate.
Right, then there's a lack of consequence or follow through of like,
They got what they wanted.
Yeah, they already got what they wanted. So you got to make them work for it a little bit.
Yeah. Ken, after this, I'll get you an ice cream.
Oh, thank you.
Only if you behave and meet expectation.
Only in, okay?
I'm doomed.
Nope. There's hope for you.
There's hope.
We believe in you.
100%. 100%. So what else?
Oh, yes. So as kids have developed their explosive language piece, one of the best ways to reinforce that also is to set up consistent time to read to your child every day without distraction. We're going to put the phone away. We're going to turn the TV off. We're going to close all devices down and have that interaction so that kids can hear what inflection in your voice sounds like. They can hear different types of voices, and then they can really get involved. I think this is a great plug for libraries, because libraries do such a great job of library programming at all ages, from the littles to the mediums to the bigs to the adults. My kids would participate in pajama story time. So we would get our pajamas on, we'd go to story time, we'd do all of these activities and reading with the librarians, who were fabulous. Shout out to my own personal librarians. And then we'd go home and the kids were so worn out, they were ready for bed. So it's a great way to, one, engage literacy, develop those pre-K reading skills, and to engage with the libraries.
And it's free.
I know.
We love free.
Yes,
Who
we do.
doesn't love
Yes,
free?
we do.
And we love our library.
Yes. Rhyming books are really a fun way to develop and build those literacy skills, but also those pre-K skills, so that kids can learn what rhyming sounds like. It's a hearing thing, but it's also a cognitive thing that they're going to carry with them forward.
They're too young for haikus.
Nobody is ever too young for haikus. I love haikus.
Because you don't have to rhyme anything.
You don't have to rhyme anything. 575, you can do it. Absolutely. Along with that, singing is a great way to get kids to be able to follow directions. Again, sing those directions, and it takes a different pathway through the brain to be able to follow those directions. And at 3 years old, kids are able to start following more elaborate directions. So you can have 2, 3, 4 part directions, where they're able to follow the sequence of events.
Oh, nice.
We can see cognitively at 3 years old that they're understanding the concept of time, which lends well to being able to have cooperative play. So now kids want to be able to play with peers, and it's not just parallel play where I'm playing with the truck here and you're playing with a dinosaur here, but now we're going to actually be able to cooperate of, I'm playing with this truck and I'm going to drive this truck over to you. And now it's your turn to drive the truck to the grocery store and pick up the dinosaur and then drive it back. And negotiating those roles within cooperation. It's really beautiful to see when it works well. And it's also an opportunity for parents to intercede. That's not the right word. To intervene when there may be some disagreements. But that's part of the...
No, you drive the dinosaur.
It's part of conflict resolution.
Yes, it starts early, and it's uncomfortable for parents also to know how to navigate that space. So it's an opportunity for parents to grow, to have those conflict resolution skills developed, and we're modeling that for our kiddos to know how to negotiate. Okay, it's my turn and now it's your turn, and even though it's not my turn, I'm still engaged in the play, and eventually it will be my turn again.
Right.
I feel like when I see kids playing, and I don't know if it's this stage, but they spend the majority of the time playing, talking about what they're going to do. Like it's like, and then the dinosaur does blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then that comes along, and then you do, have you noticed that too?
Yeah. That's part of the cognitive processing of like what comes next, and how does that work in what I'm physically capable of doing with my body, but also engaging with a peer. And it goes back to that language piece and story development. They just want to keep telling the story. It's over and over and constant.
And believe in yourself, because I know that my self-esteem took a hit sometimes playing with my kids because I wasn't doing it right.
But they will redirect you and give you your script. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. They told me exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah. I got in trouble with that playing dolls with a couple of the kids, you know, or the action figures, and I would just start, you know, ad-libbing things.
No, Dad.
No, they don't do that.
So you had early experience to improv?
I was trying to improv with the action figures and the Barbie dolls and things like that, but no, this is how it goes.
Yeah, follow the script, Ken.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great that 3-year-olds really do have the narrative and have the script in mind. And if we as parents and as adults and caregivers are willing to let them take the lead, they will direct it.
Oh, yes, they will.
We don't have to come up with the script. No. We don't have to come up with the narrative. They want us to engage fully. And if we do, they will take it and run and lead. They're good leaders at this age. This is why they're three-nagers.
Yes. And that's good for them. That's good for them. You think about how much you're telling them what they need to do to give them the opportunity to lead. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. This is definitely the time where they are willing to take the lead because you've given them that confidence.
Way to go.
Yeah, good job, parents.
Yay.
The flip side to that also is that at 3 years old, some of their fears may bubble up, and you might see that. So if there's a kiddo that's afraid of the dark or afraid of what's under their bed or whatever the fear is, that may come up during this time.
Okay.
So it's important for parents to recognize how to reconnect and reassure, just instead of dismissing it and like, no, there's nothing in the closet. Like, take a minute to help reassure them that, look, I'm going to turn the light on. We're going to look through everything in the closet. There's nothing in the closet. Now we can close it knowing that there's no boogeyman.
And we're talking normal development. We're not even talking about kids who have experienced tough situations and trauma and all of that, and their fears may be even more.
Absolutely. Under normal development, fears will emerge, and with kiddos that have experienced trauma or abuse or neglect, have abandonment issues, those fears may even be more severe or more extensive and come out unprovoked. You know, you might not know if a kiddo has experienced some adversity. You don't know what's going to trigger them.
Right.
But being that solid, safe base is crucial to helping them to re-regulate and know that you are a safe, stable person in a safe, stable, nurturing environment, and that you're here with them to help guide them.
And there's things that you can help in their environment to help them feel that safety. If they need a night light or a certain toy or whatever, just to give them that sense of safety.
Yeah.
When you're not in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Find out what those attachment items are and help secure that attachment, that you are that safe, stable, reliable person, and that can help navigate those fears as they come up.
Right.
Anything else we need to know about three-nagers?
The other thing I would point out for 3-year-olds is that nutrition is also a really crucial component to this age. Kids over the course of development, kids will grow out and then they grow up and then they grow out and then they grow up. So they get thicker and then they get taller and then they get thicker and then they get taller. And this...
I'm still doing that. No, wait a minute. I'm not getting taller. No.
No, I was like, this sounds like me, but it's just the thicker stays around. I think I'm shrinking, actually.
I'm doing that too. Shrinking into the thickness.
Be one with the thickness. Sorry.
So at 3, you may find that your three-nager is a little more picky about food preferences. And they either may be going through a thicker stage where they're constantly wanting to eat. And so ensuring that they're having nutritious, well-balanced meals, or they might be going through the thinning phase where they're growing taller and they may be less interested in eating. So again, ensuring that what they are eating is nutritious rich. To help continue that brain development, that physical development, and all of those other pieces.
No matter where they are as far as the thickness or the tallness, the same schedule as far as the eating and everything else.
Yep, definitely want to have. So for myself, I choose to balance meals with grain, a protein, a fruit, and a vegetable. And I include my kids in this conversation because they're more likely to eat something that they came up with than if I am trying to just impose, like, you need to eat your green beans or you need to eat whatever.
Oh, we've seen these fights with the grandbabies.
Yeah. So we've done education, like, here's a whole list of all the fruits. Here's a whole list of all the vegetables. Here's a whole list of grains and then protein. And then we'll coordinate and like just pick out meals together of like, great, pick a fruit that you want. And then we'll make sure that that's part of the meal because that's what they chose.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of like, you know, all the options. And then the kid says, macaroni and cheese. You had macaroni and cheese last time. I want macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We just get to pair that with a fruit and a vegetable and a protein. Like, wonderful.
What are these green things
that.
in my mac and cheese?
No, that's not the mac and cheese I wanted. I wanted the cheesy, fattening,
The extra orange
salt.
one.
The extra orange one. Oh, goodness.
I like to point out the fact that when kids are really, really hungry, truly hungry, they will eat what you give them.
Oh.
And I promise you that when kids are actually truly hungry and their body is craving nutrition, they will eat what you give them. So when my kids are like, I'm hungry, I'm like, great, there's some carrots in the fridge or there's some grapes in the fridge. And they're like, if there's hesitancy there of, that's not really what I want, then you're really not that actually hungry. You're either bored or you're stressed or you're tired or you're
you need
thirsty.
some regulation.
Yeah, you might need something else. But if they come to me and they're like, I'm hungry, I'm like, great, there's some carrots in the fridge. They're like, yes, that's exactly it. Then
Kim, I'm feeling judged.
Truly, they are really that hungry.
When I'm hungry, I don't want carrot sticks.
That may not be the nutrition that your
chips.
body needs. But for kids that are learning how to regulate their nutrition,
Yes.
If your kids are hungry, I would suggest, and my advice is start with fruits and vegetables because that's going to fill in all the cracks and all the gaps, and they're going to get all that nutrition rich benefit from it.
Wow. Well, I think that's a good way to end this episode. Everyone can go to your refrigerator and get some
Dangle
snacks.
a carrot in front of your kid's nose.
Get some fruit and get a book
And wear a helmet.
And if you're really good in the grocery store, you'll get a carrot.
and then you might get a cookie.
I know. I was like,
We're
a
going to
carrot.
reinforce that good behavior.
Carrot cake, maybe?
Okay. Now you're talking my language.
Go. I have a really great recipe for pineapple carrot cake.
You talked about this in a previous episode.
Yes.
And
Oh,
you were
that's
going to bring
right.
some.
You need to
Still
send me the
good.
recipe so I can share it with
I
the
thought she was going to
listeners.
bring some.
Oh, well,
I'll make some with the kids and bring it.
Okay.
okay.
We're on.
Well, that's awesome. Win. Win.
Next episode.
This podcast is brought to you by the Idaho Children's Trust Fund.